everyone. My name is Projeni Pather, and I'm the chair of AAXO, the Association of African Exhibition Organizers. Thank you for listening in on our Agile Leadership series. At AAXO, we are grateful for the great leadership within our industry. And in our efforts to learn, inspire, and lead the way, we have been interviewing many of the leaders in our industry that have so much to share. So today, I have the pleasure to be joined by Devi Paulsen, Vice President of DMG Events. Now, Devi has years of experience in the exhibition industry and has led DMG in this space with great passion and agility. A very warm welcome to you, Devi. To start with, won't you give us some insight into your experience in the industry?
Well, thanks, Projeni. Lovely to be here. Yes, I'm Devi Paulsen, and I've been working in this industry probably for more years than I want to share. I'm running out of fingers and toes and counting, and have worked across a range of companies, some being startups, some being corporate, global and local, and have a passion for what we do, especially in emerging markets, especially in Africa.
Now, Devi, what has been your greatest challenge during this crisis? I mean, we've all know we've been faced with many, many challenges, and I think it's been detrimental to our businesses, and sometimes it's been actually an opportunity for our businesses. So how's it been for you guys?
Well, if one looks at the challenges, I think, we require quick thinking in a very uncertain time, and the stakes are very high. There are lots of variables one always has to take into consideration. And I have to say, my biggest challenge has been getting into this kind of analysis paralysis, and not maybe making decisions quick enough because there's just too much information and too many things to have to think about. We're all dealing with a million concerns at the moment, and sometimes it's difficult to know where one should prioritize one's time and one's resources. So I think for me, I have to keep reminding myself, and us as a business, we have to keep reminding ourselves on where to focus and what's important. And currently, our focus is people. It's our teams, it's our customers, it's our suppliers, and it's our partners, and that's all really without people we wouldn't have an industry. So keep it, thinking about what any decision or any action is going to have on those elements is critically important.
So how has your organization, with people at the forefront, obviously, and we know that's important, and that's been your drive from all the conversations we've had, I get that, but how does your organization handle the scenario planning now?
Yeah, I think it wouldn't be unique if I say that we all, and as an industry, we've really had to kind of rewrite the proverbial handbook or manual to events. And how work gets done. We had to rethink what we're going to be selling because our product is different. We have had to rethink how we've been marketing it. And I'm talking about the short term, how we collaborate, how we create value in a world that none of us could have ever imagined coming. And any forward-thinking organization is going to be planning for a post-COVID-19 world. So in the medium to longer term, we are all having to think about that. We can reasonably be sure that it's not going to be the same. But how is it going to be different? And the problem is that we don't really know the answers to those questions. I think it's going to be difficult. It's very difficult for us to predict what that's going to look like, but I think it's imperative that we're all planning. So thinking about all the what the scenarios, and maybe getting into a little bit of analysis paralysis is important now and again, but having to think about that, because we don't want to be caught and say, well, geez, who would have thought? I think if COVID-19 has taught us anything, is that one has to be planning continuously for things that one would never even imagine thinking of, and being creative with those challenges.
Okay, so Devi, why don't you tell me about, is there anything that you think of now from the past 3 months or 5 months, like you said, that you're really proud of? Anything that you and your team have been able to accomplish during this time that makes you really proud?
Yeah, so there are quite a few things that actually jump out. So firstly, I think what I'm most proud about is that the people within DMG, and that starts right at the top from our leadership and cascades down, have shown so much compassion, shown compassion to the teams, to each other, to our suppliers, to our customers. And I think that's been really, really heartwarming. I've been so impressed by the innovation and creativity that our teams have shown over the last few months, both in our business continuity, but also from our customers' business continuity. Our customers rely on our events to continue their business, to meet their customers, and have not been able to do that in the last 5 months. So our teams have come up with some amazing ideas and created opportunities for our customers over this time. I also think what has been really important as a business, DMG has really stuck by and adhered to its core values. And during this time, we've done what I think is the most important, and put people and safety ahead of anything else. And finally, this really relates more to our South African team, but I'm just so impressed by the generous spirit that the team have extended. As it was Mandela's Day last week, and this is an initiative that we proudly and love to be very, very actively involved in. And you know, we weren't able to do that as we would have wanted to in the past. So our team came up with a fantastic idea of creating Get Well Soon cards for the COVID patients that are based at the Hospital of Hope at the CTICC. And I think this is going to be a very welcomed gesture at a very difficult time in many people's lives, when they know that there is a group of people thinking of them and rooting for their recovery.
Oh, that's absolutely beautiful. I mean, really, everybody wants to do something, but you're right. We were all challenged during this time, lots of opportunities, but how do you physically get involved? And that must have really warmed hearts and will warm hearts in the months to come, I'm sure. Now, the other big question I think that our industry has been facing in terms of online is, how do we take our events online? That's been a burning question, and everybody's been trying to get there really, really quickly. What advice would you give to someone who wants to move their event online at this point in time?
Yeah, so if I were to say that there's an extreme proliferation and saturation of digital and online events, I don't think it'd be an understatement. Online events have grown 1,000% since lockdown. One service provider is quoted to have said that they have hosted over 52,000 online or virtual events between March and May. So it's a busy, busy space, a busy, busy time for everybody. And I think the first piece of advice I'd give is, don't just do an online event because your competitor's doing it, or you just think you're going to throw something out there. Don't try and keep up with the Joneses. I think stay true to what your event and your business is about. An online event requires as much research, due diligence, and as much vigilance as one would put together a live event, if not more, especially now because it's a very, very busy space. And I treat a virtual event like a live event. Go through the process that one would go through normally. Don't be fooled or sucked in by this idea of a quick turnaround. It's easy to put together, because you'll probably do your brand a lot more damage than good. Think about the customer. Think about what your customer needs, and make sure it's market facing. So don't make sure that there's a need and an opportunity to do it, not just because you think you need to do it.
Do you think that if events don't go online now, that they risk a reputational loss because the event is not in existence then?
It's a good question. No, I don't think there's a risk. I think if you're close to your market, you'll know what your markets require you to do. If your market needs, if your market by now would have told you that there is an opportunity for some kind of a virtual or digital platform, and I'm sure there is in some shape or form. But I think, I think I wouldn't be worried about missing the boat per se. I think it's better. We always want to be first to market. We always want to be ahead of the curve, but it's better to be considered rather than just rushing something that's actually not going to add value. And you know if you're going to add value to your markets, and and I think the unknown is obviously how the receptivity of the market, but if you understand your customer, you'll know that whether or not the customer needs it right now. And the adoption of online world is different, and we've got a lot to teach our visitors and attendees about how to utilize the platform. Still, there's a lot of education still required in this space, both from the organizer's side, from the platform host side, because there's a lot of platforms out there, as we've spoken about. But we've got to, I would say slow and steady sometimes isn't a bad thing.
Absolutely. And I mean, on the reverse of that, like, are we talking about reputational damage? But by going online too fast, you could damage your brand again more than ever before.
Yeah, absolutely. If it's not, I mean, if your first kind of a foray into online is not, you're not using the right platform, your customer's going to have a bad experience and not going to be interested. And they won't not only be interested in your opportunity or your option, but they might not be interested in other options that are put out there. So it's better to do less and do it well. It's the old business analogy: do less, do it well, rather than trying to do stuff that really you don't really have much experience in. And we've all got a lot to learn in this journey.
Absolutely. So given the fast pace that online has taken and many people wanting to adopt and all of that, what role do you think it will play in our events in future? Do you think hybrid events will become the thing of the moment and will become the future? And do you think hybrid events will take over the face-to-face events?
No, I don't think they'll take over. I definitely think there is a role for them. I think that they can definitely add value. I think that there is an opportunity for this digital space to enhance the live space. I think that, as I said earlier, we're still in pilot phase in the virtual world, aren't we? Yeah. So there's no perfected platform yet. You talk to many organizers, they will mention all the tweaks and the issues that the platform had, and the little glitches that one had to go through. So there's still a lot. It's still a long way before one could say that the hybrid is the way forward. I think that it'll be a few years before we're comfortable in that space. But I definitely think that the digital opportunity alongside a live event is actually a very nice model. And it's probably something we should have been doing from the start many years ago, because it's enabled us to connect more meaningfully with our customers 365, 24/7, and which is what we want to do at the end of the day. So if one can find a happy medium between the digital world and the live world, and provide opportunity for customers, options for customers to have both, that's great. And I think the analogy that they use a lot, what they're currently using, is the travel issue. And the way that I would look at it is that what an online platform is going to enable is geographies connecting with us who might have had challenges in the past through visa issues, for example. This will be a lot easier. And also for customers who are new to the market, if they want to test it first before making big investments into big stands and or travel, it's a good opportunity.
Absolutely. Yeah, we never thought about those. Hey, because it was a stumbling block before. If somebody couldn't make it because of timing issues and they were double booked and had two events planned next to each other, whether it was a speaker of some sort. And now Yeah, you can absolutely. There's no boundaries anymore, and
Yeah,
that's a real enhancement, I would say. So,
yeah.
what do you think are some of the positive things that have come out of COVID for our industry as a whole?
Well, in the South African context, I think it's brought our industry much closer. I've really enjoyed the opportunity to engage more with my peers and colleagues from different organizations, more than I would have in the past. From a business perspective, I think the very positive aspect that's come out of it is I think we've humanized business again. And I think that we're looking at each other more as people than we maybe would have in the past, because I think we've missed that opportunity to engage face to face and have I think the opportunity, the face to face opportunity, whether it's a meeting with a colleague or a customer, is going to mean a lot more now than it would have in the past. So I think the humanization part of business has been a great win for us as a society, as a population, the human population.
Yeah, that is so true. Yeah, because we get so used to being behind our desks and a simple email would do, yet now we want to connect, and we're connecting
Yeah,
more than ever. And that's an absolute positive. And the connection and the collaboration, I think, is really important. Like you said, it's been wonderful.
absolutely. Yeah.
Now, Devi, on a personal note, how do you manage to stay so positive and motivated through this all with so much on your plate?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it is very difficult. One of the things that I've had to remind myself in this process is that it's okay to be a human being. That we're all human, and any human reaction is perfectly normal. We're living in a very, very unique situation, and we don't. No, nobody has all the answers. And as leaders, I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to always, and I think we believe that our teams and our colleagues are depending on us for all the answers, but I don't think they are. I think that they are depending on us to help steer and find an answer, but not always have the answer. So I think I'm a lot more comfortable with that. And yeah, I think we generally as leaders are much harder on ourselves than we would be even on our team. So if you're hard on your team, and I think I'm a hard taskmaster, even though I try to be a benevolent one, you're harder on yourself. But yeah, I think it's okay. It's important to find an outlet to kind of, which is a source of strength and inspiration. And my catharsis is my family first, and music. I absolutely love music. I love getting caught up in a world of all different types of music, whether it's classical music or whether it's heavy metal. Currently, my daughter's introduced me to Korean hip hop, which I quite like. But especially with the advent of 8D technology, which has completely revolutionized music and takes you into a completely different world. So absolutely love music, yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. Definitely soothes the soul for sure, right?
Definitely.
Makes the world and the weight on your shoulders much lighter. I absolutely agree. Now, on our last note, I'd like to ask, being in the position that you are in and having the wealth of experience that you do have, what advice would you give to other leaders in our industry right now in terms of managing the situation, managing your personal environment, managing your office, and trying to balance this all so that we all come out standing?
So I think first we've got to make way for a lot more agile work environment, and just which speaks to the series of this interview, Projeni. But it is about agility. It's about having an agile workforce. It's about having agility and quickly reacting, responding to scenarios and situations. Very importantly is our world is changing around us. It's never going to be the same. And we've got to make sure that we are evolving and adapting to that world. Our roles, our jobs are going to change. Our job title, our job function is going to change. We're going to have to learn brand new skill sets. And there are many that are willing to embrace this. I think there are many that aren't willing to embrace it, and I think they're going to be left behind, or they're going to struggle. And I'm already seeing that because we've all been stretched so much in this, coming up, especially, whether it's leadership or whether it's product development, being able to tap into new things, looking at new opportunities, new technologies to deliver what we need to deliver. And then on the softer side, I think leadership is about winning people's hearts and minds. And I think there's definitely in business a lot more focus on winning someone's mind over. So looking at the logic, looking at the numbers, looking at the kind of hard, cold facts, which are critically important. And we can't run a business or have an economy without that. But one also needs to win over your team, your customer, your supplier, your partner's hearts as well. If you've got someone's heart and mind, I think it's a great recipe for a lot of success. And so my second recommendation would always be to check in on the status of both of that and take actions that help advance you in both of those categories, which will enhance your business.
Thank you so much for that. That helps me a lot. It gives me a lot of guidance, and I'm sure it's definitely going to be really, really inspirational and supportive to all those people that have listened to us today. So thank you so much for joining us, Devi. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed it.
That's great. Thank you, Projeni, and thanks for giving us this platform to share our experiences and our stories.
No, thank you for joining us. It really, it's an absolute pleasure listening to you and learning from you. Your insights into your business at DMG means a lot to all of us that are in this industry. And to all of you who have been listening in, thank you for joining us. We appreciate your support to the industry, and be sure to catch the rest of our Agile Leadership series in the weeks to come, as we will be interviewing many more leaders who will be sure to inspire, support, and assist you in your journey ahead. I'm Projeni Pather, Chairperson of AAXO. Thank you.